Special Forces soldier down! Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman, the podcast of the early life of J.R. Hendrick, hereby in a narrated format. Okay, so the scene begins at 2:05 a.m. and Grandma Elizabeth wakes up with abdominal pain. Thomas gets her tonic and she takes that and goes into the living room, gets some of that herb to go back to sleep. 3 a.m. Brad picks up JR to go to Bethesda, Maryland. Went to the right motorhome with a good body. A nice hole. 6 to 8 passengers. And plenty of sleeping quarters. It's got a nice body. We just have to go to the place called AI Homes and pick it up. I know that's weird. I know we have to drop it off at Madison AI before flying back to DC. Brad said. Once we get it, your boss Dexter says that we have to drop it off at the Heritage Foundation. 3:06 p.m. They arrive at the AI home franchise. When the manager walks out, "You're the fellow interns," the manager said. "Trailer is ready. I got the carriage ready for 8 passengers." Lewis is like, for me, it should be cheap when you drop it off in Madison. 3:40 a.m. Brad and JR pull up in the motorhome in front of the Heritage Foundation office when Paige and Karen run out. "I'll take care of this." "And reaching when it's all ready for this afternoon," Karen said. "Come on, you two. Get in my car. Marissa's Beck is getting your car, Brad, in order to bring it back. I'll see you two on board this afternoon," Karen said. 6:30 a.m. JR wakes up to find Rachel and Thomas in the apartment. And they have cinnamon bagels together. 8:40 a.m. Okay, this is where it heats up. Elizabeth is running late for her photodynamic therapy session. And so she is squabbling with Jim in the apartment. "Next time, get Thomas to take you to your therapy sessions, Jim. Jim's here. Okay, Jim. Jim. Sorry, old friend. You know what must happen. That's being an idiot. You get the bell. That's right. It's time for that patriarch to get schooled. Okay? So now, and Elizabeth, she's getting mad. She's like, you know what? Betsy's daddy was right about you. You're no more than a power-hungry wildcatter. But that's okay. I'll take a limo for my damn therapy session. And Elizabeth's like, JR, best steer clear of me. Thanks a lot, Daddy. That was heartless. JR shot back. Boy. And Jim's like goading him like, you better stand up to me. And JR, I didn't directly tell him to go to hell. But I just kind of screamed at him in some ways in a polite way, telling him that. I bet. Okay, 1 p.m. Jim is in the office meeting with Carol Stringer and Bill Mayer discussing their earlier press conference about the financial and fiscal policy of the Small Business Administration. Not long before, Jim got into a fight with Betsy and Christine. Who moved into the apartment with Grandma and Thomas and Rachel. But that's what they were going to do. But then Jim said that he would not be coming home tonight. JR had already packed up and gone to stay for a while at Brad's apartment before heading to the trailer. Now, 2:30 p.m., of course, the trailer takes off. You know, JR is in the back apartment of that trailer sitting with Brad and Karen. I was done. So I can't slow me down, can't hold me down. Katie barred the door. That's how it was. Indeed. 3 p.m. Oh, wow, the White House. In the White House, President Clinton calls him a confidential assistant. They used to spy on Hendrick family. Political views to discuss things. So, I better look that up. He's here, sir. Thank you. And the receptionists are going to hold your calls. Good. Bobby! Hey, you want some wine? I'm trying to work some things out with my wife. Can't have any Oh, I got you some iced tea just in case. Bobby, what do you know about Hendrick? Well, he hasn't been hanging out too much with anybody politically. But he had a fight with his wife, his mother-in-law, his daughter, and his son. Wow. Interesting. Alexander Irons is going to be reporting to me in about 3 days. Yeah. Hillary speaking at a rally in Miami. And then she's going to Atlanta tomorrow. Look. Some iced tea. I myself going to get me some wine. Now, has he done anything today? Not that I know of. But Phil Whaler is concerned that good old boy Hendrick is going to be stirring up some crap. Well, that's kind of sort of talk for the course of them. Well, you have to know. Happen to know what? Well, sending him to Philadelphia and Detroit to be looking into some blockgrams, and one of his favorite faith-based initiatives. Personal versatility, if you will. Court favor of the American Conservative Union. Hendrick's demise. Cheers. Cheers. Anyway, someone near the mansion could hear him and his son getting a little verbal tussle. His son was screaming at him. Really? He said, hit the trail. Dad, I am. You should too. Well. If this don't tell off, we ain't got a choice. Okay then. We do what we do. We manage what we manage. Get Phil later on the horn. Already have. He's agreeing to sit in Pennsylvania because of to solve the problem. Where he camped, was to get him involved in the son's life somewhat. Well, I like that even better. Yeah, praise the Lord, huh? And pass the ammunition. Even though son and father are divided. This will force father and son to try to work together. I know. That's going to be a pain. But it works right in his hands. You see, he's chasing power now. Thing is, he thinks he get because he got that appointment with me. Because that thinks he's got too much power. You want me to keep an eye on things? Stop by Wednesday. We'll talk. Bring Leon. We're going to bring Leon Drew in on this one too. This is going to be interesting. That's what I think too. Bob, when your trial starts in August, I can't use it. I know that. Okay now. You take care of yourself. I want to see a good report in 6 days. Oh, one more thing. Blake Carter, he caught his wife cheating. Well, the same time that Jim Hendrick and his son were arguing, there was some big tussles going on at the Carter mansion. Holy shit. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. 3:25 p.m. Jimmy gets in his office when he gets a call on the phone. It's Marlene Dietrich. She is at the Fairfield Inn and Suites and wanted to see him for the night. So Jim calls his secretary, tells his secretary to hold his calls. He was taking the rest of the day off and come back tomorrow. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. in the front lounge of the mansion. Forever and Stark are talking. Something is, and Forever's like, something's really wrong. You can just tell by it. Something's really wrong. Yeah, I know. Jim's much too good to go crazy on everybody like that. I mean, I had to take her to further dynamic therapy, Sarge said. This house is so empty. I mean, Jim is not coming home tonight. Betsy is not coming home tonight. JR's gone on some travel internship. He's mad as hell at the rest of the family. I think we should get tickets to go back to Dallas and get Mom to bring us back to Wills Point until we're ready for A&M. Forever, no. We have to stay here until at least August, when Bessie and Aunt Lizzie go home. Well, let me see. Jim is going to be here often. Betsy's going to be gone for several days. Christine is going to be gone for several days. JR is going to be gone for several days. Bobby is at Red Scout camp with Kevin. That one leaves us, Thomas, Rachel, and Elizabeth Reed and Aunt Lizzie. And Elizabeth Reed's out on a friendly date with Frank tonight. Let's go out on a date ourselves. Let's go to Thornton's at Falls Church. Okay, so it's 6 p.m. and at Wren House in Farmington, Pennsylvania is the home group Bible study. JR, could you comment on that? It's a phenomenon that got started, I think, in the 80s and 90s. It's a great idea. We learned a lot. We studied the Bible together. No doubt I must have told everybody what was going on. All right. So, if I can get this crazy thing to work right. I said stop. Okay. JR, that next day, we went to a movie house near the Gettysburg battlefield to see the reenactment of the Battle of Gettysburg. 7 p.m. Out at the Gettysburg battlefield, we all turned to sit as Senator Rick Santorum does an enactment of the Gettysburg Address. 8 p.m. The group returns to the mother home park. Dr. Michelle and her family check into a hotel along with a couple of interns, but JR and Karen stay in the motorhome, and so does Brad. 1 a.m., Elizabeth wakes up with abdominal pains, and so Thomas gets her her tonic, and then bring her into the kitchen for some more of the good herbs so she can go back to sleep. 2 a.m. Betsy wakes up in a posh guest bedroom in the penthouse of Bryce Hawkins. It was the same Bryce Hawkins who knew her former boyfriend, John Dustin, and who was also a friend of her father, Jeremy Swain. She drinks the rest of her Heineken and goes back to sleep. 3 a.m. JR wakes up and steps out of the motorhome to catch a breath of fresh air. They will leave at 7:10 in the morning to go from Gettysburg to Harrisburg. 7:35 a.m. Jim wakes up in the arms of Marlene Dietrich, self-development speaker. She quickly gets up and gets dressed to go downstairs to give her speech. All right. 15 p.m. The motorhome arrives in the Pennsylvania state capitol, and the driver takes it to a parking garage as the interns rush into a briefing room. Okay, JR, you need on the house floor now. Listen, I've been preparing you and briefing you the past few days. Over the phone, over the email. You should be fine testifying. The rest of you, interns, I want you to be turning in your fact sheets and briefing books. Bradley Lynn, you're with my junior assistant, Liam Towers. Surprise, surprise. My testimony only lasted 15 minutes. And then, a Democratic member of Pennsylvania House of Representatives suggested that it be brought to a vote. 56% of the Pennsylvania Assembly passed the income tax cuts, with the House Speaker said was enough to move it to the Pennsylvania Senate. 12 p.m. In the mansion front lounge, Jim and Betsy are bickering. About time you come home. And Betsy's like, she's like pissed. She got hands on her hips and stuff. About time you come home. And Jim's like, and he's like, oh, I see. You really give a damn. You half-wit idiot. I just had another argument with Mom before she went to her further dynamic therapy session. No thanks to you. Oh. And you think that your neighbor Kyle is going to help keep JR on our side? And Betsy's like, would you stop being peg-headed? I know you were with Marlena last night. And I just bet you were with, tooling around with Bryce Hawkins. He's my emotional affair. Something which I wouldn't have to stoop to if you're a decent father and husband. And Jim's, he's like Stomach. Don't you lecture me. And Betsy's going, okay, I see how it is. If you changed. You're always saying that. You want to keep the family together. But yet when there's a fight among the kids, you won't stand with me. And Kyle's an agitator. And if you don't stop him, the way JR was when he walked out the door, because one day he will. And Betsy's like, oh, he wouldn't hurt him. I'm like, give me a break, Mama. I'm not that naive. Oh, I see how a few things change. You're always saying that. Okay, no, this is not it. Okay. Oh, yeah, well. Speaking of JR, well, he's a son after my own heart. Had the courage to politely tell me to go to hell. A couple days ago. And Betsy, oh my God, she takes out a fireplace poker and she points it directly at Jim when Elizabeth Marie walks in. And she's like, you guys are really going nuts. Jared was going to leave anyway. And if you guys had been in a better mood, he would have walked away in a better mood. It's like, woo! 12:20 p.m., the motorhome bus left Harrisburg bound for Philadelphia. When they get there at Independence Hall at 2 p.m. in time for the rally. And she says, now, look, Floyd. Now look, Brad. Floyd, the driver has agreed to drop this off at Independence Park. Enterprise rental car is going to pick us up because Karen and I and the family, we need to be back in Washington. We need to be back in Washington because here's why. I have pro-life work to do. And Karen has pro-life work to do. So that tells you something. And then Karen gets on this bandwagon. And this is going to be the way it is for the next few episodes. And she says, oh, and JR. I want you to get that restlessness and that you think you have to prove something to your father, your hypermasculine father, out of you before you come back to me. I'm losing patience in you again. And Dr. Michelle, Karen, that's no way to talk to JR. He's been good to you. Dr. Michelle, and she says, anytime he's angry at his father and having to prove himself to him, then we have a problem. Karen? Oh, Karen. Quite a temper. Temper. And I'm sorry, but for that, you get the bill. Yeah, girl, get schooled. I'm just having no right to talk to JR that way. All right. And Brad tells him, lay off, kid. JR woke up kind of sick. I need everybody to be patient with him. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. It's Independence Hall, and it's a Heritage Foundation rally. All right. Brad was the keynote speaker, and I was the featured speaker. Dexter had informed me of the rally and said he wanted me and Brad to speak there. The Heritage contacts in Philadelphia would be Constance Benton and Alia Almendares. Okay, it's 3 p.m. Washington, D.C. Fairfield in the suite. Jen is drinking with Marlena. Okay, it's pretty obvious they're getting cozy. I mean, cause with Betsy, Jim ain't drilling for oil at home. And so Marlena has this nice imperial suite. And so Marlena has this daughter named Hope that's with her, that's 15 years old. And of course, she sends Hope to go swimming so they can have a little koosh. 4 p.m. The motorhome parks behind the mansion of Francis Blackwell. And he's like, you miss Sally. She flew to Dallas. And then her grandma took her to Guthrie to spend some time before she heads off to Lubbock. Francis Blackwell leads Brad to put his dog Rusty out in the back pasture behind the mansion. Rusty would escape and get ran over in over 1995. A year later, from that particular day, Brad's mother will give him 2 dogs. Actually, Skipper. 3 dogs. Tipper, Skippy, and Scrappy. These 3 dogs will become an obstacle later on in my early life. 6 p.m. Okay, this is what's going on. Jim and Marlena, they're all getting cozy at that jacuzzi. Woo! You know what's happening there. And so Marlena's cozying up. She's like, well, is Betsy getting too cold at home? And she's like, hardly ever home. I don't know. I thought the trip to Baton Rouge would help, but... And Marlena's kind of intuitive. She's like, your son Kyle's the problem. He's like, yeah. He'll do anything to provoke JR. Boy beat Kyle up 11 years ago after he knocked JR off the porch at Mama's Lake House. I wanted to kill that boy. Now, 8 p.m., JR is alive at the party, at the dinner party at the mansion of Princess Blackwell. The Blackwell's family was established in Philadelphia. In 6069, and by 1690, they struck oil and began with the oil refineries, and that's how they got their fortune. Okay, so now we know July 9th. JR. Now, Sunday morning went as follows. Brad went to First Baptist Philadelphia. I didn't go to church because I was right sick with a cold. And in a bedroom in the motorhome. Mama didn't go to church. But Daddy went to his usual Assemblies of Christ church and went to confess his soul to the Reverend. 3 p.m. Okay, in Chevy Chase, Christine is hanging out with Monica and Jennifer. So Monica's like, I wish I was coming back to... my father got a political assistant director regarding international spending. And Christine's angry. Right now I don't care about my daddy or his job. And Mama keeps enabling Kyle. And JR hit the trail. Given it, I don't know why he does it. But in many ways, I don't blame him. And Jennifer's like, Christine, what's wrong with your mom and your dad? And Christine says, well, it's a long story. But I'll tell you, Mom had a former lover who was Kyle's real father. Well, he sent JR an email desiring to see Kyle. And now there's war again between Mom and Dad and the rest of the family. My cousin Forever is thinking about going back to Will's Point. So, if she does that, I don't see no reason why I should have stayed around here much longer either. Hey, Mom's appointment ends July 20th. So, if you want to, you can come back to Texas and stay with us. And get ready for school. Until your mom comes back, Jennifer says. Does that mean I have to babysit Jack? Christine said, and Jennifer's like, of course. Now it's 2:31. Inside the Blackwell Mansion, JR calls Jennifer. Old standby, I don't know why. I liked her, no fool. I was very fond of her. And she's like, my father's having a party for some friends. We're entertaining some friends he knows in Greenland. And so, I can't talk long, Jennifer says. And JR's like, well, I miss it. I know, JR. We had some amazing times, but it's over. My parents can't even agree on whether or not I could marry you. So I can't. You see me no more. But can we still be friends? This is where there's a long pause. And Jared's like, oh. No. And then finally Jared says, aye. Look. Charlie Nation has called me twice already today. I got to go. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. And at the Fairfield Inn and Suites, Jimmy's having an early dinner with Marlena. This will be their last night together for a while. Because her husband was coming to D.C. tomorrow to talk about reconciliation in their marriage. Jimmy's not ready to reconcile with Betsy. But there might be some wrinkles in that plan tonight. He had a special call with Bill Mayer, where he was to be receiving some marching orders. Looked like he was going to be flying to Philadelphia. 7 p.m. In the motorhome bedroom, JR is talking to Karen. I don't want to talk, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you right now, JR. I got family in town right now. Some of them don't like me talking to you. And JR's like, that's fine and dandy. My father is coming in tomorrow. And I'm missing you, it's driving me crazy, JR said. I have no patience for you right now. I have to go. JR hangs up the phone. I'm going to call Jennifer tomorrow. Her plane lands at 10:05 tomorrow in Toronto. Her mama's private jet, JR said. Come on, JR, you don't want no more of Charlie's Nation's scraps. Be patient with Karen. She'll be right for you, Jim Bob says. Jim Bob, and Karen. Looks like the bell. A lot of these people in these next few episodes are going to get skilled. Are going to get schooled. Okay, so I want you guys to get ready because a lot of this is some deep stuff. Okay, so now it's 9 p.m. Gail gets a call from Dexter. Alright, the next assignment is not from me, nor from the union. It's from the higher-ups in the union, both Heritage and the union. Work with this guy. He's your father, JR. I wouldn't touch this from a 10-foot pole. They got a call back from the higher-ups who say we have to take it. I booked you a suite at the Marriott Hotel near the Philadelphia airport. I need you there at 11 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, I wouldn't touch this, but my bosses and the bosses at Heritage found this on a BBS. Okay, so it's 1 a.m. Elizabeth, she wakes up with abdominal pain and takes out a little bit of tonic and goes to Thomas's room to get some herb to fall back to sleep. 2 a.m. Betsy wakes up and goes into the living room of Bryce Hawkins. Jim had asked her to come home tonight, but she refused. She would spend at least one more night with Bryce before even thinking about returning to her husband. Bryce made her feel free. She could smoke marijuana like she did when she was in college back in 1964. She could watch Jerry Springer, something Jim did not respect her to watch. Not to mention, Bryce played all the hard rock stuff that she loved from being with John Dustin. Jim seemed to didn't mind the hard rock, but he was aware as a small child that JR as a small child it deeply affected him. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. Jim is at the airport, gets the ticket to Philadelphia, submits his ticket to Philadelphia and gets the boarding pass. 7 a.m. Southwest flight 309 to Philadelphia, taxis down the runway and departs Reagan Airport. A lady who was once a young, long-time secretary of Congressman Benjamin Bates was returning home to Philadelphia to meet her parents and go back to work. She and her husband had been married for 14 years. And just 4 days ago, he decided it was over because he'd fallen in love with a beauty queen, a perceptical studio porn star. Sometimes the Jim's gonna hit on her. Alright. 10 a.m. Gerald Brad, Jim Bob, and Toby. No. It's Kevin Delano, another assistant and intern from the American Conservative Union, are sitting around the living room when the doorbell rings. It's Jim. So, JR, it's time we all talk. It's time we all talk about work, but not in here. There's a wardroom on the other side of this room. Let's go, Jim said. JR, you can't stay mad at me forever. Jim is sitting in the boardroom, swiveling on his chair, when the young interns walk in. All right. 2 things. Number 1, you're not working with Dexter. Crystal, you're not working for Heritage. You are working with me. This is an opportunity for employment, and more particularly for mentorship, boys, Jim said. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin are trying to combine some legislation for faith-based initiatives and block state grants to help poor start small business. This is one set time when I need a cannon of force among states, and I sure could be our conservative allies in 1996. JR, that nerdy professor of yours is having you studying McLuhan's theory of propaganda. Well, you're going to use it, boy. This man, philosopher, social experimenter, mass media philosopher. Oh, why should I give a damn? He's from Canada. I need you boys to use a little propaganda and position to get my legislation passed in these 3 states. Now first, JR, Brad. There was a plane owned by Francis Blackwell used for Senator Santorum to get him back to D.C. Brad, get JR to the plane. That way, Senator Santorum can give a fact sheet that JR can fill through the holes. Horton, there are some tactile graphs in your tools. All you need here, we're on the table. Delano, you help him analyze the data that we have. Something I forgot. Oh, yes. Well, a guy from Pennsylvania has already passed in the House. I got some of that data. Jim Bob, you and JR will go to the motorhome to take the senator to the airport. The state senator to the airport. Drive him to the grocery store on the outskirts of Philadelphia. And he'll give you the data there. Wednesday, Jim Bob, you will join your union counterpart here, Delano. You'll be leaving that evening to meet that evening with State Representative Connie Melbourne. You hand her the fact sheet that JR typed up. JR, good news for you. Senator Alex Romey is going to have a yacht party. He wants you to go in a limo to pick him up by chauffeur. You go with him, his wife, to their house on the outskirts in Detroit. His wife, well, she runs a show on this one. I'll tell you more. 1 p.m. at the Plain, Senator Santorum meets with JR. You're lucky it caught me. I have to rush off to D.C. now to get ready for a vote. Hendrick, your father may be demanding, but I'll tell you one thing. He does care about you. Okay. 2 p.m. Betsy hops into Bryce's Cadillac. She's like, woo woo, they're going for a ride in the Cadillac. Although their affair was only emotional with Bryce, there was almost an attachment between the two. Although the Jim would call him the tax man, and would annoy Bryce because he was a well-paid accountant and financier. Granted, Bryce was 16 years Betsy's senior, but it didn't matter. They loved each other. 2:35 p.m. Stop, please. Technology is not behaving too good today. Good news is we're going to be ending this pretty soon. Okay, so the Blackwell Mansion, JR picks up the phone to call Jennifer. And she's like, hello, JR. It's like, you know, I really shouldn't be talking to you. I'm with my mother right now. Besides, I'm going to be going on a date tonight. And he's like, Jennifer, look. Things are going pretty crazy lately. Me personally. Right now. All I need is someone to hold on for a little while. And she's like, goodbye, JR. So Jim comes out of the Blackwell home office and gives JR a pat on the back. You did good. The real test is tomorrow. And JR's walking up like, anyway, it was the same way my granddad used to walk away from my daddy whenever he was less than thrilled with him. It was the same way in July 1984 when Daddy was ready to walk away from him to go get ready to leave the ranch to go to the airport to go back to Nashville. Okay, so phone keeps jumping the gun, so I'm asking you guys to please be patient. Okay, so now. So it's 5 p.m. and I'm having dinner at the Blackwell Mansion. Sit down for steak dinner. Steak burgers. Now, JR is, I was telling you, your father, Mr. and Mrs. Chris Bowers, are very divided. Mrs. Bowers wants Jennifer to marry only inside the Assemblies of Christ Church. she's pretty gone mad to say that she has to be born at the church. Chris was raised by Protestant converts to the church, and therefore is a bit less progressive, Francis says. And so, here's something that Jim says. It's like, oh my gosh, Jim, no. But this is what he says. Stop. I gotta pause. Having some technical difficulties. Make long story short, Jim says that when he was home Saturday, Holly dropped by the mansion and wanted to see JR. He said, JR gets mad and gets all about Huff. Big argument between Jim and Jim Bob, and Francis Blackwell has to start now. So feeling hopeless, JR calls Jim Bob into the back bedroom of the motorhome to talk. Man, I can't believe Jennifer, all the stuff that I went through, and Karen getting impatient with me. It hurts. JR, cheer up. You know Karen loves you. Didn't I say her mom pulls fast tricks? Oh yeah, but you're the one that told me to get back with her. Charlie and I were just trying to make it better. You don't stop a cycle. I didn't know her mom was a women's liver. Oh, but now you see what she's been, what she's been telling me all along. This ain't funny. Go to sleep. Tomorrow is a little bit better day. Oh, Jim Bob. Whew. You need to wake up and see realities, bro. Okay, so it's 1 a.m. Kyle wakes up. He's got the sixth sense that something's wrong. Really wrong. 3 a.m. Okay, the 1 a.m. Central. Okay, so it's going to alternate between Eastern and Central for, at least the next 2 episodes. JR wakes up with a start when he hears the news about a Special Forces soldier was gunned down by Serbian sniper in Bulgaria for attempting to knock down an electric tower in Belgrade. I was me, I'm hearing, hoping that it wasn't who I thought it was. They got killed. 7 a.m. breakfast, bacon, egg, and cheese, sandwiches, and everything. Of course, obvious with Jim was just this woman that that was getting divorced had decided to come stay the night with him. 9 a.m. A special hangar at Philadelphia International Airport. So, out steps the charter planes is Senator Keith Morgenthau. Okay, so you're the ones that are going to be taking me to the store on the outskirts. I'm on a tight schedule because I have to be back at Harrisburg by 1. I'm going to sponsor some state block grant legislation and passes faith-based initiatives. It should be in the Senate. But first, I got a camera crew at that store so I can get my cousin to come up with the business and do an ad for faith-based initiatives. Hendrick, he tells me that your mother home has a PS device. Let me tap a GPS address. Let me tap it in and it'll show you where to go. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Central. Kyle is outside the barn. Barking orders at some of the hands to get some cattle ready goats ready for auction in Turmoil. Suddenly his phone rings and it's Rodney Moorhead. And Kyle's like, "What can I do for your ranch today, Rodney?" Say what? Oh no! Oh no! It's kind of like that Travis Tritt song. You know, the song "Tell Me That You Didn't Say Goodbye." That part says, "You're gone." Yeah, okay, and so Kyle's panicking, you know, kind of like screaming like hell, and he's like, "Honey, Kenny's going to take the damn goats to Kerrville. The trip is off because James Moorhead died. He was supposed to come home from Bosnia in the month, but some idiot shot him off the tower to die." Oh my God. How am I gonna tell Mama? For the rest of the week, Mama told that Kyle was very grief-stricken and even snapped at Madison a few times because she's pregnant. But then he come to realize that this would be that the child could be a son that could be named after James Moorhead. I hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's going to get more interesting from here.